the first step is to do a self-audit. Really ask yourself, where am I holding myself captive? This means being honest with yourself about where you are, what's working for you, and what isn't. And if you think about it, we come into the world, our natural state is with so much love, creativity. Think about kids, they have inspiration. And yet over time, we're taught to fear. And fear is a necessary inner alarm system that we all need to survive in the physical world. Think about it. We learn to look both ways before we cross the street. We learn not to touch the stove when it's hot. We learn not to talk to strangers. But over time, we get hurt. Life throws us curveballs. We learn to stop taking risks and start being afraid. We get afraid to put ourselves out there. We start calling ourselves practical or realistic for making choices that seem responsible, when really we're just so scared of criticism. And if we're being really honest with ourselves, people who call themselves realists are often just dreamers who got their hearts broken somewhere along the way. So how do you make a U-turn? You do a self-audit. You come home to yourself. And that's why one of my favorite questions to ask people is, what do you know that you wish you didn't know? What do you know that you wish you didn't know? Maybe some of you know that you're hiding from the truth. Deep down, you know you're hiding from the truth. Maybe you're hiding from the fact that you hate your job, but you don't want to admit it because you're scared and you don't know where to go next. Or maybe you're hiding from the fact that you married the wrong person, but you're scared to admit it because it's going to unravel your life to get a divorce. Or maybe you know that something's going on with your health, but you're scared to go to the doctor because you don't want to hear the diagnosis. Whatever it is, tap into what's deeply true for you. Seeing things as they are, not worse than they are, not better than they are, but as they actually are. In order to figure out what you really want, you need to see the truth of where you are. And maybe right now you feel pain bubbling up inside of you as you look at what's true for you. But know this, pain is often a trampoline that will launch us into our next stage of life if we're willing to let it. The second step is to follow your freedom. Follow your freedom. This means paying attention to what feels good to you so that you can finally set yourself free. So you're probably wondering right now, okay, Ashley, how do I feel what feels good? Very fair question. We live in a world right now of internet trolls and tweets and text messages, and the data is officially in. We are so connected that we're somehow, according to research, more disconnected than ever. In fact, in the United States alone, 71% of the workforce is on the job hunt, and I believe as a career expert that that is because people don't like where they are. More than 70% of the United States is taking prescription drugs, and more than half of marriages are ending in divorce. We've heard it all before. Do what you love, and the money will follow. Or my least favorite piece of advice, follow your passion. These short expressions are often a fast track to nowhere. But when you learn to really follow what feels good to you, your purpose is often either right in front of you or on the periphery of that. So maybe you're wondering, well, how do I really connect to my body? How do I feel? What feels good? You're still being with this question. And that totally makes sense to me. Right now, scientists are calling our gut our second brain. And you've probably heard the research that suggests that there's more than 200 million neurons in our gut, which is equivalent to the size of a cat or dog's brain. So what does that mean to you? That means if in your nervous system you're feeling some sort of anxiety or disconnect, some nerves, something feels off, to trust it because your body is a messenger and it is constantly giving you feedback. In my early 20s, when I moved to Washington, D.C. to work in counterterrorism, I didn't know if that was going to be my ultimate career path, but something about it felt good to me. And guess what happened on the periphery? I succeeded in my career. I learned how to master the job hunt, and I became a career expert. And guess what happened on the periphery of that? I became a published author, my biggest dream. In a world of climbing the corporate ladder, 5-year plans, and unnecessary degrees, we are all striving for something that is so unrealistic, and it's perfection. But who you are at age 25 isn't going to be who you are at age 30, and it certainly isn't going to be who you are at age 40. And that's why I invite you to see your career as an experiment that really meets you where you are, a vehicle for your own self-expression. You can start with writing down all of your ideas and checking in with your body, seeing how they feel to you. Do you feel joy or do you feel fear? Do you feel expansion or do you feel contraction? Do you feel liberation or do you feel suffocation? That's why one of my favorite tools to recommend people that they use is called a joy journal. When you're feeling disconnected, for 30 days, take the time to write down every single moment that lit you up the most every single day. And I don't care if it's the woman you talked to in the bathroom line at the club or the meeting you led at work. Pay attention. And at the end of the 30 days, take note of if there's any patterns in your inspiration. Really ask yourself, what skill set am I using when I'm the most inspired? Because when you're in your inspiration, you're not being run or kidnapped by your fear. And the third step is to engage. So, needless to say, your cute little joy journal isn't going to get you that love interest that you've been pining over or that dream job that you really want. Action will. But perfectionism is the enemy of action. And often I've found that perfectionism is a mask that we all wear when we're afraid of failure. So ask yourself, am I a perfectionist? Because here's the truth of the matter. Clarity comes from engagement. It does not come from thought. Limbo is powerless. So if you want to be powerful, look at your list. Pick something that feels good. Show up. See what feedback the universe gives you. Make a commitment and know that you can course correct along the way. Looking back and thinking about the fake kidnapping incident, I think a lot about my dad and all of the trauma that he experienced that day, nearly wiring his entire life savings to some strangers on the phone. I think about how the truth always really does leave clues. How he thought to ask if it was me or if he could talk to me. Because early on in the kidnapper conversation, he wanted to talk to me for proof. Some part of him knew. I think about how he gave away his power in desperation and in fear, as we all do. And most of all, I thought about my compassion for the kidnappers and all of the lessons that I really learned. We all have the opportunity to free ourselves. And it starts with really taking a look at who you are, doing a self-audit, following what feels good, and taking action. No matter where you are in your life right now, you have the opportunity to make a U-turn. That means connecting to the truth, connecting to your body, connecting to your joy. Most of all, that means making your U-turn.